Welcome back, everyone, to day 4 of our sessions. So we're going to start first with an amazing session. It's titled What's Your Jugaad by Shameen Mehrotra and Sajida Vadgama. So Shameen is a director, school outreach services, senior therapist, and a member of the senior management team at Umeed Child Development Center for over 15 years. She's graduated from the University of Pennsylvania, USA, with a Master's of Science in Education and Psychological Services, as well as from the University of Mumbai with an additional master's degree in applied psychology. We also have Sajida. She graduated from the University of Mumbai with a bachelor's in history and psychology and is currently pursuing her master's in psychology. She was a Teach for India fellow for 2 years, teaching 9th and 10th grade students in a BMC school. She brings with her diverse experience as a teacher within the government school space, as well as knowledge and expertise in liaising with relevant stakeholders within the broader space of education. Welcome, Shameen and Sajida. Thank you so much for coming. Over to you for the next 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, and it feels so great to just be in this space. And thank you so much for creating this collaborative space where we dream together and really come together to listen, learn, and share. So thank you so much. Shameen, over to you.
So, sure. Thank you for having us here and giving us this opportunity. And I just want to start with, talking a little bit about what Sajida and me do. So Sajida and me are actually part of something called the School Outreach Team at Umeed. And for those of you all who don't know what Umeed is a not-for-profit organization where we work with children with developmental disabilities. And really, as part of the school outreach team, what our hope is to work with schools to get them to be more inclusive and get them to engage more effectively with children with diverse needs. So we've ended up working with a whole host of schools and school systems, from government schools to low-income affordable private schools to the higher-end schools. And I guess what we've experienced over, the last couple of years that we've been working in the system is that, we've been, a large part of our work has focused on actually supporting teachers and building capacities within schools. And in that, part of what we've experienced is that oftentimes in that need to constantly support children and engage them more effectively, the voice of the teacher sort of, is completely just not heard. And it really just becomes about what the teacher should be doing, what the teacher should not be doing. And that critical element of the mental health of the teachers actually ends up falling through the cracks. So that's something that Sajida and me and the team, at Umeed is really passionate about. And we really feel that in order to be able to support children effectively, teachers need to take care of their own mental health. And, so that's a large part of, what we end up doing in our sessions with teachers. And Sajida, do you want to add to that before I move on?
Yeah, exactly, Shameen. I mean, as you said, while we were engaging in, especially post-COVID, I mean, we've been engaging in these conversations for the longest time, for 2 years. But I think what we really, what came out is how are teachers having that voice even to speak about topics of mental health, where culturally we are not taught to speak about these things, and how, even just beginning these conversations in spaces like this, and as we talk more about it, what are the spaces that we can think about to kind of, have these conversations going?
Yeah. And, when we talk about mental health, oftentimes when, Sajida and me have done these sessions with teachers and we ask teachers, what do you think about mental health? Like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, or what do you understand by the term mental health? A lot of what we get to hear is that they say it's about being happy. And I really want to take this opportunity to just, take a few minutes to talk about the fact that while that's not completely untrue, mental health is a lot more. It's really about being able to express and articulate all the feelings and emotions that you're experiencing and doing it in a way that feels safe and comfortable. So I think that's the crux of it. I think there's a reason that WhatsApp has that whole bunch of emojis and not just a smiley face, because it is really important for us to express and articulate everything in totality. And yes, it may be the ultimate end may be to experience a sense of fulfillment, happiness. We can use various different words for it, but it involves the whole range of emotions and feelings. So if I look back to the past couple of months, and that this COVID pandemic has created for us, it's not been easy for anybody. In fact, the other day we were part of a session where I heard someone say that the COVID pandemic itself has actually created a whole other pandemic, which is related to mental health concerns. And, that's something that's really stayed with me, because if I look back to the past 6 months, it's really been a time of uncertainty, unpredictability, and it's been a huge source of anxiety for all of us. I mean, for the kids we work with, for the families we work with, for us as individuals too, because no one really knew what was going to happen. I mean, the reality is nobody still knows what's going to happen. We're all, living in that bubble, hoping the vaccine will come out, hoping this will happen, hoping that will happen. And that's great, because I think we thrive on hope. But if I think from the school context, the teachers have been at the receiving end of a large amount of this anxiety, because really they've been thrown into this, concept and construct of online teaching. And it's nothing that any of us have been sort of trained for, prepared for. So it's not only being thrown into something that you don't necessarily know how to do, but now they're not only also teaching the student, but oftentimes they're teaching the student's mom and dad, and also sometimes the extended family. So they're constantly being watched and perhaps judged while, trying to do their jobs. And, that in itself is a stressful environment to be in. So it's really thrown up so many issues and mental health concerns over these past couple of months. And, I just feel that, very little is sort of being done to address that, because really, although people have been talking about mental health, right now, the focus is more about what the teacher should be doing, what they're not doing quite right, what they should be doing better. And really, a large part of what my interest and Sajida's interest is really trying to, support teachers to become more aware about their own mental health. So, one of the things that, we've been doing at Umeed is actually having sessions for teachers where we really support them to become more aware about their own mental health, and talk about, a word that Sajida and me really love to use, and we at Umeed, a lot of us at Umeed really love to use, and it's called Jugaad. And it may be a cultural thing. So I know that a lot of people in Bombay use it, but I'm pretty sure people across India use it a lot. And what Jugaad really means is like these life hacks that you sort of use to respond in certain ways that are meaningful to individuals. So really those sessions are to, of course, bring awareness about the importance of taking care of oneself and taking care of one's own mental health. But also really thinking through what are the small and not so small things that teachers have been doing to respond to, this period of stress, anxiety, and any other mental health concern that they're experiencing. So we've heard in those sessions that teachers have been, doing small things like having a cup of chai, which may seem really small for one individual, but in another family, having a cup of chai by yourself is a huge thing. So it may seem small to some people, but really just taking the time to have a cup of chai by yourself, thinking through your day, being a little reflective, or just taking that pause to think about nothing is also a big thing for a couple of people. So they've been, they spoke about things like, having chai. Someone spoke about being able to take the time to play Candy Crush on their phone. Somebody spoke about how video calling their family has now become something that really gives them, a sense of comfort and a sense of balance. So there are so many things that people spoke about. And I think the common theme ended up being that, we've used this time to actually learn new skills. And, it's been a time where we've really been productive. A lot of people spoke about how they've taken up new hobbies. They've started cooking. They've started doing their stitching. And they've started doing a lot of these things that they meant to do, but they didn't actually have the time to do in terms of learning a new skill. And I just want to pause here for a minute, because the one thing I do want to say is that in itself, sometimes having those conversations can also seem to be an anxiety-provoking experience for a couple of teachers and for individuals, because I think the word productive being the key word, and everybody is talking about how they can make this time and be most productive. But I think we need to recognize that sometimes productivity is not only about doing something or learning something. I mean, the fact that we've all made it through these 6 months and are sitting here today listening, and talking about this in itself is a huge achievement. And I think that's something that we need to hold on to, that oftentimes our ways of responding to mental health concerns may be very, very different. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to learn something new. I mean, just taking that time out to pause and give yourself that time to do nothing, which is also a skill, because a lot of us are not used to doing nothing. We're not used to sitting at home and working from home and then taking those gaps. We're not used to our work being spaced out the entire day. We're not used to doing housework and in addition doing, our other duties, and in addition playing roles that we play in terms of being a daughter or someone's spouse or someone's sister or someone's mother. So, there are so many things we're doing that sometimes just to do nothing also is a skill. We need to figure out how to do that. And I think on that note, I want to let Sajida talk a little bit about, how we've been thinking about the importance of making mental health care accessible to people and really building communities of care where teachers can feel safe in school environments to be able to support themselves as well as the children around them and the children that they work with.
Yeah, and as you said, Shamin, the word jugaad, we do talk about mental health, and I think everybody's understanding of mental health also comes from their own lived experiences. I think what COVID has really made us think back and reflect as to what are these alternative discourses about mental health? What are the other stories about mental health that we can together? I mean, we have been reimagining science and math and all of that. How can we reimagine the discourses about mental health? Some of the ways that we do at Umeed to take mental health conversations outside the confines of the therapy room and bringing it into our day-to-day life. So we've been exploring, and this is an invitation to the entire community who is joined here today as to how can we all collectively think about a world that we co-create these communities of care. How can our schools look like community of care? How can we have a world of care, of justice, of interdependence? Let's think about our sports activities once the school starts, or our libraries. How can we have our children literature as communities of care to explore more ideas and to add on this collective documentation of all the jugaads that we are doing for ourselves, and how do we build these communities at Umeed? We have this invitation to all of you all to join us in these discussions for not only the next 3 days, but feel free to reach out to any of us wherein we come together and we talk about how do we create these communities of care and redefine the meaning of mental health. Also get in touch with our own internal resources, the jugaads that we have all been already doing, just to make it visible for ourselves and the people around us. So, Shamin, would you like to add something to what our experience have been around this?
Yeah, I think the one thing that I really would like to talk about is that there is no right or wrong way to do this. I think that's something that we need to keep in mind, that everybody has their own different ways of responding. And really, sometimes we look at other people for inspiration, for motivation, but their way may not necessarily be our way. I think it's drawing on the strengths from other people and using that to build up your own strength. So of course, you learn from the people around you. Like I said, you may use them as a source of inspiration, but at the end of the day, the way you respond to a situation may be very, very different. And that's not making it right or wrong. That's just making it valuable and meaningful for you. And that's what's most important when we talk about taking care of ourselves and taking care of our mental health. So I think, like Sajida said, to end, really like to leave you all with the thought of, because we're educators, a lot of teachers, a lot of, mental health professionals, counselors, a whole variety of people in this session today, really just to think about how can we make our education system a safer place to be? How can we make our schools a safer place to be? And we don't have to do anything really big or grand. I mean, can we do that one thing to make a difference? Can we, have that one conversation with that one child that will make a difference to his or her life? So it's just the small things. Maybe, I'm really going to urge people and encourage you all to just think of one thing you all would like to do differently when you all go back and, work in any way that you'll work or interact with the kids and families that you'll work with. Try and do one thing differently that would really support thinking about and building awareness about their mental health, of course, but also your mental health. And, what is that one thing that you would like to do differently? So I know that we just have 1 minute left. And, there are a couple of questions that we're seeing on the chat. So perhaps I could just answer one. There's a question from Anjum which says that there seems to be no working hours, especially since we are working from home. And how can we switch off? Anjum, that's a really hard question. I think the easiest way to switch off is literally switch off. Put the laptop away, put the computer away, put the phone away, and take that time for yourself. I think it's a matter of really setting boundaries for yourself in your given constraints. And of course, looking at the practicalities of it. Perhaps you take a couple of hours in the day off. Perhaps you say, okay, on a particular day, I'm just going to switch off completely. So again, like I said, there's never a right or a wrong way to do things. But it's really important that you do that. It is really important. The key word being is switching off for some time, and switching off may look very different for different people, but really switching off in terms of, the thought of work, the thought of having to, produce, be productive, just give yourself that time. I think you need it, you deserve it. We've all earned it by, being in this situation for the last 6 months. So give yourself a little pat on the back and take that time out as and when you need to do that.
Yeah. I think we are at 3:15, so I would just like sign off with this thought, saying a lot of gratitude and also like celebrating the beginning of this conversation. So I take this as this beginning, and may the conversations around this go on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sajida and Shameen. We had a few questions in the chat box. Thank you for addressing those as well. People were also sharing that they use meditation, prayer, yoga to keep their mental health in place. Some of them also said, interacting with teachers students help them to forget their problems when they get on Zoom call to see their students. It was really wonderful to see that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for this.